man shall live, the mother of all living. Then she started 7. She then written in the beginning. He shall rule over her with the curse, increase the pain while giving birth. Out of the ground they call her Mother Earth. All right. Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Mika Wash, in the building. I got some people online. I got the Hista, and I got the number 1A1 Astro Projections.
How
How
y'all
y'all
feeling
doing
today?
this evening?
Amazing, amazing. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling all right. I'm so thankful y'all can grace this stage right now. Uh, we're gonna be talking about exploring Black American culture, and the question is whether Black Americans have a distinct culture. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, I think we do.
I hear
I
feedback.
definitely think we do. Just
Hmm.
recently won a debate on this topic.
Yeah, it's been a debate for generations. Okay, some argue that Black American culture is a vibrant and unique entity shaped by his history, resilience, and creativity, while others suggest it's a complex blend of influences, challenging the notion of a singular culture identity. So, you got people on either side. So what you guys think? Do you think that the Black culture been influenced upon?
I definitely think the Black culture has been influenced upon. It's something that happens just naturally over time, the evolution of cultures. Go ahead, though.
No, you could talk. What do you think? There. I mean, his stuff.
Oh, I thought he was going. I thought he was going into a detailed answer. Yeah, of course I do. I believe we got our own culture. I mean, it's been appropriated by everybody else, but you can't deny the things that we have, contributed to all cultures. You know what I'm saying? And once again, yeah, it was appropriated, but it's still ours. And that goes to the music, the dance, the food. That's ours. You know what I'm saying? And people just picked it up and ran with it.
Mm. So, how do you define culture, and what elements are essential for a group to be recognized having a distinct culture? Let's just skip all the rest. Just how do you define culture?
You want to
Who
go
you
first?
asking? Yeah.
You can go first.
No, handle your business, folks, because I'm trying to eat this
I'm gonna let you
pie.
fit.
You
Okay,
making
you
me
want me to let you
hungry
fit?
up in here. Sure, I'm trying not to eat. He over here eating and stuff,
I know, he
making
smashed
me
it.
hungry.
Mhm.
The question again was what encompasses culture? Was that what you
How
asked?
do you define culture?
How do you define culture? There's a definite definition. When it comes
Mhm.
to definitions, I don't like to
How would
paraphr
you define it?
how would I
On your,
define it?
without like it
The
being like.
way we act, the things we do, um, over an extended period of time, those things become the culture. Um, and there's others, aspects to it, but
Mhm.
just that would be my quick definition.
Your quick definition.
The way we act, the things we do, the expressions of our creativity, uh, all of that would be in there.
Okay, here's how would you define it?
I think to kind of sum it up easily, I think it's a vibe. It's a vibe that we as Black people have, and I think it's things that, like you say, things that we do that are exclusive to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was explaining to you earlier. We started R&B, we started rap, we started rock and roll. Those are exclusive to us, no matter how they try to erase the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's our culture. Our swag is our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Our foods, what I'm saying, that we put together is our culture. So that's how I describe a culture. Our vibe and our swag. That's exclusive to us.
Okay. Okay. Um, what? How do you think slavery influenced our culture?
Well, I think it what it did was like the pig Latin, the language that we spoke. We had to develop something to communicate with each other that kept people on the outside. So that the songs that came from slavery, the hymns that came from slavery, So slavery had an influence because I think it made us more tight knit because we had to be secretive in the way that we communicated with each other.
Okay. Uh,
Um, my answer to that would be part of our culture is to adapt to
mhm.
hardships and make the best of things. Um, and slavery definitely. Did you say was your question specifically influence?
How do you think slavery? I mean, do you think slavery influenced our culture, and if so, how?
I'm not sure if influence would necessarily be the word.
Mhm.
I know slavery restricted our, slavery restricts culture
Mhm.
in certain ways.
Mhm.
Um, I guess you can say that's influencing it. Yeah.
I
So,
think you was going in the right direction when you was saying that we were learning to adapt to our environment. So even in a tough environment, we still had our culture. We still practice certain things. And so I want to ask both of y'all okay, something that you learned growing up traditionally that that most black folks, do in the culture, like something specific, like how I'll give an example. When your grandparent or your mother or father or your elder is giving a party, sometimes they had the little kids come out and dance. Like that's kind of like part of our culture. Have you ever been called out to dance for your mom's company or your grandma's company?
Yeah, no, that never happened with me.
never happened to
Never.
me. Never happened to me.
Never, never. They didn't know
Um,
what they was gonna get asking me to entertain. That wasn't nothing that was on the table. Uh,
Come on out here and come do that little dance you do. You ain't never had nobody say that.
mhm.
Oh yeah, that my granny used to put me on the spot all the time. All
Yeah.
the time. Okay, well then, I mean, what have you learned about Black culture specifically? Like, what are some things that we do traditionally as a whole that you might can name?
hmm, it's a good one.
Shit, talk shit, have roast sessions. You know,
My cousin, he was supposed to be on here, but I know he mentioned something about spades and dominoes. What do you think about that? Is that Black culture?
I wouldn't call that black culture. That anybody can play those games. I think the shit talking that we put on it and whatnot is something that we can claim because that's what we do. We do a whole bunch of shit talking and playing the deserts and whatnot. And I think that definitely is part of our culture. We grew up bagging on each other. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I didn't see that in other cultures the way it was in ours. We learned to talk shit at an early age in my time.
Definitely not the competitiveness between siblings and family members. Yes, or definitely just between black people. Period. We're real competitive with each other. I think that's part of our culture now today. The whole thing about culture, when people talk about it, it's like it seems like a "Make America Great Again" campaign. Like they're trying to get back to something
Mm-hmm.
when that's not how evolution works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to go. I mean, trends come back around, and a trend can become part of a culture if it's practiced by enough people over a long enough period of time. But um, people are saying like the culture is messed up. We need to get back to our culture. Like that's a phrase I hear a lot. Like there are things that we can pick up if you
Mm-hmm.
want, but like what time period are you talk get back to your culture? What do you mean? Do you want to get back
I
to the
mean, throughout
Egyptians?
all
Do you
times,
not
like
you, just
that's like
anybody
that's
who asks that question?
that's like one of the questions too. Like, what is our culture? How do we define our culture? Who are we as a people? Like, I mean, we're Black Americans, but like, what culture do we really have? Like, let's be specific. Like, what are things that African Americans, foundational Black Americans, what do they do in their culture that you recognize it? Like specifically.
I
Like for
mean,
example,
but
in the
I
Jewish
think
culture, they have bar mitzvahs. You know what I'm saying? In Mexican culture, they have quinceañeras. Then they mostly Catholic or whatever. So what specifically,
well, the thing about that when you speak about that is those practices came from their homeland. We don't have a connection to our homeland other than, this is where we were born at, we were raised at in America, and being that we were spread out and denied certain things, and we don't have that type of celebration that they have. You know what I'm saying? They brought that from their homeland. That's been practiced throughout their entire lives. We didn't have that. Although we've been around since the beginning of time, our actual being is basically new in essence to everybody else. Because we wasn't given that opportunity to come together and practice things and, unobstructed, unmolested and shit like that. So yeah, we do not have those type of things. But what I'm saying, for me, that doesn't make us, be on a negative or whatnot, what I'm saying, because they practice bar mitzvahs and quinceañeras. Shit ain't nothing but a party. That's all it is. And we party too. So I don't think
Oh, here
that's
go a
something
good
that's
one.
celebration.
I see J Fax came up with a good one. And J Fax, you were supposed to be up on here, by the way. He said we sing Happy Birthday in the Stevie Wonder version. That is something that we do. That is definitely something that we do. Thank you. He also said line dancing. When a line dance song come on, all the black women goes in line and dance. Tell me that don't happen.
That happens. I mean, when you start talking about stuff like that, yeah, we can name those type of things all the time. But I think personally, when you talk about culture, it's something like enrichment. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's tangible. And I don't believe that dancing and singing is tangible because everybody does that in all their cultures. I don't think that's exclusive. We just got our own, style of doing things.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's a
culture
good answer.
necessarily has to be tangible, and I don't think something that's part of our culture necessarily has to be positive, or enrich us, or benefit us. Part of our culture can be our own self-destruction, unfortunately, and these are things that like people don't usually bring up when you ask these questions. Um, a lot of our culture, because it has been infiltrated, as we just spoke about, has a negative side. So it seems like we can't pick certain things, but like I had a bunch of negative. I had positive things pop up, but it was the list of negatives is obviously more longer. Like if we're going stuff like that, standing in line for Jordans, I think that's part of our culture. Buying things we can't afford. And but it seems like what would I be doing if when you ask questions like what's our culture? It's like how do we separate that list from the list of stereotypes too as well? Because everybody isn't one way, you know.
Yeah.
Right, but are the stereotypes true or false? Like chicken and watermelon. I mean, everybody like chicken. I think most people that eat.
Not to
Um,
that extreme, but negative parts of our culture, when expressed, can seem like you're stereotyping people. That's all.
Shit, I don't eat watermelon.
And I wouldn't stand in line for Jordans, but a lot of people
It
do.
sure
You know,
wouldn't. I ain't never bought a pair of Jordans in my life.
yeah, you know.
Not one.
oh well, yeah, I like Jordans.
But there are people who would say, "Hey, that's a part of our culture," you know, and they wouldn't be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, J Fax. I had here. Welcome to the stage, J Fax. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. What's going on?
We just over here chopping it up about culture. What do you think define Black American culture?
That which inherently identifies and unifies a people group. Where I think, honestly, when it comes to the cultivation part of the definition, people tend to focus strictly on the progressive motion or the upward motion of the community as a whole. And culture doesn't only progress you. I mean, by definition, there was a such thing as Mongolian culture, and they were all savage warlords.
They were savage warlord.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it. I damn, I'm not gonna say it because I ain't giving him no credit. So
Mhm.
I'm just leave it right there. The Mongolians were definitely savages.
Are
You agreed with
Mongolians
me. You did
are
agree with me. I
Mongolians
agree with
Black
you, I should
I
say.
Americans?
did not. I did not agree with you, sir.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know what
right.
you're talking about.
I'm agreeing with you. That's what's going on. My arch nemesis, J Fact. Shout out to you, man. Hope you're having a good day today.
Yo, everything's good, King. I ain't got nothing to complain about.
So you said, so are Mongolians considered Black Americans or what?
No. I was referencing how their culture, like when people think about the Mongols, they don't think food, dance, and music. Like they just don't. Like when you think Mongols, the first thing that come to your mind is savagery and murder, literally.
And that was
And
their
you think
culture.
that's their culture?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
you know, if you ask somebody what is Caucasian's culture, what would their response be? You would get varied responses, but you know, what would some of the negative ones be? You know, maybe we can think of the positives, but
Colonizers,
as you see what I'm saying,
privilege.
so there's duality in everything. Nothing is
Mhm.
always one way. Like, and culture encompasses like a lot of different aspects. It's not just one thing. Like
Mhm.
certain aspects of our culture have been restricted to the point where we can't express them at all, and
Mhm.
certain other areas we shine in. And you know, and our culture is dominant to the point where other people become culture vultures. You know, so
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I gotta say that to the effect of black people aren't a monolith. Like we're just not. If we talk about African Americans specifically, I
mhm.
mean, if we really consider the fact that we're African, historically speaking, right? Like the black person, if you subscribe to this, because I know not everybody on the panel agrees with this specific line of thinking. But if you follow the idea that we come from, you know what I'm saying, West Africa, that you just off that notion alone, you're completely under the impression that not all of us agree on much of what it is that we exercise or express. Likewise, that same ideology follows here in the United States. Like, there's black people who don't listen to rap music, they prefer jazz. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There's black people who only wear suits and dresses all day. While the next black man or woman might like a pair of True Religion jeans. Like, culture, this is why you hear phrases about cultural diversity, especially in corporations. The idea isn't always centered around race more than it's centered around the ideologies of those peoples themselves.
Mhm.
So to me, to answer the question whether or not black people have, I think it's a pretty pedantic question in my personal opinion. It's not only is it pedantic, it's insulting because consider the fact that many of our ancestors, I'm talking about many, have quite literally orated down a lot of what we know. We didn't document, we spoke it. You know what I'm saying? We're talking to people. We express ourselves in word. We told stories. A lot of it. And I don't want to get it. The point that I'm making is simple. Do black people have culture? Definitively, by definition, yes. 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 And anybody saying otherwise is either self-hating or and I'm a Jamaican man saying I was born in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, to two immigrant parents.
Mhm.
Anybody saying that black people, African Americans, don't have a culture are either self-hating or some coons.
Mm.
facts. And if
Okay.
you were to ask the question like, what is the culture of Africans? Like he said, we're not a monolith. It wouldn't be one answer. Maybe you can do it by region or by nation.
So do you
Um,
consider Africans Black Americans?
no, I was
No.
using that to contrast. Now, if we came back to America and ask what is the culture of Black Americans, again, it's such a broad concept. Like maybe we can go into regions. What's the culture of the people in St. Louis? What's the
Mm.
culture of the people in Miami? In Miami, they're wearing wicks. They're doing this. They talk with this slang. They have a different culture.
Mm.
So Black Americans' culture isn't. It's not like like you said. Keep using the word monolith. You're on the roll today, J Facts. 10 points for you.
Okay. In what ways has the history of Black Americans influenced the development of a unique cultural identity? No.
Was that for
Can you
everybody
say
or?
that one more time for me?
In what ways has the history of Black Americans influenced the development of a unique cultural identity? Do we have? You said
You said
it's
a
not a
whole lot
monolith,
there.
so y'all don't believe that it's a unique cultural
Yeah.
identity.
It's like,
I think we do.
we're
No,
going in
I think we
circles
do.
now.
No. I think we do. I think we do. Consider the fact that African American vernacular exists. I mean, that's a unique thing about us. It's one of the reasons why you'll hear, especially down in Louisiana. I'm pretty sure y'all visited. You'll hear white people talking like that, and the first thing that come to your mind, you don't even got to say it out loud, but you're thinking it. Why are you talking like you black for?
So there is a such thing as talking black.
Absolutely,
Do
undeniably,
you think
100%.
Darren, is there such thing as talking black?
Yes.
If we're talking along the lines culturally, yes.
And how do you talk black?
Well, your
So
um,
Ebonics.
well, Ebonics is a cultural slang.
Yeah,
So
that's actually a racist
the
ass
word
term too.
cultural before slang is what makes it the way a certain group of people talk. That's their culture. They've adopted these words. They've cut these words short, and this is how they communicate. That's part of the culture as well. This is in the definition.
Okay, let me ask this question just because I'm trying to pull this out of y'all, but I'm gonna ask it in a different way. Do you believe that Black American culture is cohesive and has a distinct entity or is a distinct entity?
I do believe so because we have people who capitalize off of our culture. Our culture is unique in the fact that the same way America's number one, Black American culture is number one. We're copied by melanated people all around the globe. We have people in Africa now using the N word, dressing like us. Our trends and the culture that we've adopted, they're adopting now. And we're on the world stage for everybody to see. So how we act is important, and cleaning up our culture, is a job that needs to be done.
Mm. What do you think, Theron?
Well, shit. I mean, the brothers is answering is spot on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yes, we have our own cultures. Like I said, when you talk about our energy, our vibe, our swag, that belongs to us and that influences everybody. You see the
Mm.
white women plumping up their lips, plumping up their ass. Then it moved over to the next race and the next race and the next race. All trying to mimic us in some way. Everybody is always trying to mimic us. And so, yeah, we do have our own culture in essence, and we have influenced many people with that energy and vibe, you know what I'm saying, that we put out.
Mm. Uh, J Fax.
I'm a big proponent of AAV. Honestly, it's uniquely identifiable by us. Like seriously, you can't. It's funny. I saw a skit by a man named Trey Rag. Shout out to Trey. Um, and he was acting like he was trying to talk professional with a white tone, and and no matter how hard he tried, the other person on the other side of the line was like, "Yo, you're not white. Like, I can hear that you're not white," and it makes me laugh because it's true. Like the same way you could tell, you can pick a white person out of a lineup if you listen to them hard enough. You know what I'm saying? The exact same thing applies to us. The minute you hear a black person talk, you can be like, "Oh yeah, that's a black person."
Mm-hmm. So we definitely have a type of lingo going on, right?
One with a whole dictionary. It has a whole dictionary. The Urban Dictionary is for understanding us.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they be getting it wrong though, so I don't know.
Not yet. They be tossing it sometimes, but yeah.
Um, how do you guys think systematic racism shaped the Black American culture? Or do you think there was a systematic racism? I don't know how you feel about that. But how do you think systematic racism may
I
have
definitely
shaped our
think there
culture?
is systematic racism. I
Mm.
think it was built into the system. So when people say like the system is broken, like no, it's working exactly as it was designed. This was designed into the
Mm.
system. Let me think about how it's affected Black people per se. If anybody else wants to jump in, now go ahead. Um,
Um, I think it
our
affected our
culture.
culture. Can I answer the question I asked myself? 'Cause I ain't really
No,
asked. No, I
Mhm.
can't.
no.
Okay,
So
well you
anyway,
asked me.
it affected our mentality. Systematic racism affected our mentality and how we respond and deal with point in case law enforcement.
Mm.
How we all have a certain type of feeling. Those of us who's had the experience in dealing with law enforcement, you know what I'm saying, in our neighborhoods and things of that sort. So of course it has a major effect on us. It has a major effect on the foods that we eat. You know what I'm saying? The jobs that we apply for and are hired for. It has an effect on every last thing, every last aspect of our life. Because like you say, it was designed to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um,
I got
I
my
was.
answer now. I'm ready for you.
Who's that talking?
Astra, A1.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Um, I think, not I think, I know. It definitely influenced our culture. One, in the way that it, how do I want to put this? You got me on the big screen. You got me on the
What
jumbotron.
happened? I got,
um,
you know.
the systematic racism affected our culture because I forgot what I was about to say. You threw me on the jumbotron. Threw me
Oh
off.
my goodness, you on the
I
spot?
wasn't
Okay,
ready
let
for
me
the
let me let
spotlight.
me take you out the spotlight.
You
Maybe
took me off the
you'll feel
spotlight
better.
and think what I was about to say
Let me
again.
can I because I want to touch on it.
Go
I
ahead.
feel like systematic racism contributed to our culture because systematic racism locked up a lot of our brothers, which left a lot of fatherless homes. And it caused a lot of women to be more in their masculine. You know, even with slavery, too, uh, families were ripped away. And I think you said it earlier when you said we had to evolve in our environment. You know what I'm saying? Adapt to our environment. So, like with women being in the pseudo masculine energy, men kind of like these days, they really don't understand what it means to be masculine. And then women don't really understand what it's like to be feminine sometimes. It's like it made the roles kind of reverse a little bit.
And right now, see, like this question is a good one for like my opponent who lost the debate on culture
Mm,
because he was really breaking down how our culture was infiltrated, which I didn't
mm,
disagree with any of the points that he made.
mm,
He was just trying to say like it's since it's not our own, we don't have one, which was a losing stance. But right now, I think that he would say things like our culture isn't experimented in; it's being heavily studied, it's being heavily manipulated.
mm,
Everything from housing projects in the hood into how that affects us, and like you said, um, the fatherless homes. That leads to the men in jail because of the gang wars, this fake war on drugs, and putting black men
mm,
in jail at such a high rate. Then leads to the fatherless homes, which leads to the high rate of gang culture. Um, so like everything that you see, I see why they say they try to put a lot of negatives on other people, but
mm.
with knowledge comes power, and then you see what's going on, and then you can fight and stand against it. I don't necessarily think it's a losing battle. I think all it takes is just spreading awareness.
Mhm. Yeah, like so Darren, did you want to touch on that? Did you touch on that already? Systematic
That was the
racism?
first one. Yes.
Oh, okay. J Facts.
Sure. I don't believe it influenced it. I think honestly, systemic racism shaped it. I think it not only shaped it, I think it created our culture. Now, let me say this very plainly. Um, there's certain things in evolution that I don't agree with at all. I think they're just as baseless as much of what many who are atheistic would say was baseless concerning religion. Um, However, there's some parts of it that I agree to, considering adaptations, for example. Um, the very reason why the Black community survives at an astronomical rate with everything that we face is completely and utterly due to our ability to adapt. Like, definitively, that's just the case. Um, and for some odd reason, we just have this insane level of flexibility that allows us to not just survive, but a lot of us thrive as a result of our ability to adapt. We can find ourselves in scenarios that we're completely unfamiliar with and fit in just fine. We actually codified it by giving it the term called what's it? Code switching. We call it code switching. You know what I'm saying? We can get into a whole nother environment where we don't even. I've seen black people who went into whole Indian like cultural parties and started dancing like them, and they were completely embraced. And it always like puts me in awe. Like, how in the hell are we so flexible? And it comes back to the fact that we were literally bent to the point of being broken and only got stronger, which is the most insane thing ever. And it shaped us to being who we are. We don't talk like them because we don't want to be them. Intrinsically, deep within ourselves, even though we want the respect and recognition of our enemy, we hate them definitively within our genes, so much so that we want to stand apart. We cook different than them. We clean our food and shit. You know what I'm saying? We make fun of their music. Am I making sense here? It's almost as if you ever watch Superman? Anybody on here watch Superman?
I probably watched maybe the first couple of Superman.
Y'all familiar with who Bizarro is, right?
Bizarro, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Superman, but it's a Superman that's nothing like Superman. You tracking what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We're Superman. They're Bizarro. You get what I'm saying? While they can do some damage, they're nothing like us. While they are human at the end of the day, there's things about them that we don't possess, and there's a lot that we possess that they don't have. And genuinely, as a result of our existence in the same space, it allowed us to become who we are today.
That makes me think of a Tupac quote where he was talking about Biggie and his opposition, and he said, "It's the other side that makes me who I am." You know, without them there, them being there allows me to be the best man. You know, and
that's a fact. I mean, what is a knife without a stone to grind against it?
Facts. J-Facts to be exact.
I know you like that. You can write it down. It's
I want to introduce to the stage the legendary DMG. What's going on, DMG?
You say the legendary DMG. That's funny.
Yeah.
What's up, baby?
You not legendary?
In my own mind.
I think you're legendary in the minds of others too.
I appreciate it. So for one thing, I had to hop up here for. I see J Fax and A1 getting along, and I can't have that. So
don't be bad because I know how to make people get along.
No blame on the A1 and J Fax trying to be all friendly and whatnot. This is Stone Cold and The Rock in 1997. Since this the whole effing show, I think I can puff without getting judgment. So I'm gonna go and do like A1 right quick.
I stay puffing.
So that being said, I want to say when it comes to black culture, it's simple. It's the sable struggle of black peoples in America and in the wider diaspora. And that's what it really comes down to, and everything that encompasses. And that could be everything from art to music to whatever, because culture can be defined as all ways of life, including art, beliefs, and institutions of a population that are passed down from generation to generation. Mm-hmm. Culture has been called the way of life for an entire society. As such, it includes codes of manners, dress, language, religion, rituals, and art, etc. Mm-hmm. So, what is black culture? African American culture, also known as black culture or black culture in America, refers to the cultural expressions of African Americans, either as part of or distinct from mainstream American culture. So what I always tell people when it comes down to the word black, that is black people in America. That was coined for us, by us, so to speak. And every other person of African descent in the wider diaspora sort of adopted it. But that phrase black really refers to us. That's why when people talk about black culture, they're really talking about African American culture. So what represents black culture? the artistic and cultural movements such as the Black church, the conscious community, Black arts, the Black Renaissance, hip hop, Afrofuturism. These can all be described as elements of Black culture that have been led by people of African descent and set the standard for popular trends around the world. What are the values of Black culture? Community, social activism. Black culture emphasizes community, solidarity, and social justice. Why? Because of that stable struggle of Black people that we talked about. We've been struggling for our existence in this country since we got here. We are the only people that literally, like the non-Black person Drake said, started from the bottom, now we hear that. That's like if started from the bottom, now we hear was a person, or a people, it would be Black people, because we literally started at the bottom and clawed our way to the top of this society. And no matter what anybody try to say about us, no matter what they do to us, no matter how they beat us down, no matter how they try to define us, we continually define and redefine ourselves on a continuous basis in a society that was never meant for us to be a part of. So whether it's us carving out our own lane or amalgamating into the wider society, Black people have established themselves as a force to reckon with, not only here, but everywhere in the world, because everybody take cues from us. And so when my man say, we don't have culture, we have cancer, it's kind of ironic that a lot of us see ourselves that way, when, as Tupac said, if they could be Black, then they would switch. And because that's how the world sees us. Most of the world wish they could be us, but we see ourselves in a negative light because we buy into what they say about us. They say we got the highest crime rate, but what they don't say is crime happens in proximity. And so if you look at white on white crime, if you look at Chinese on Chinese crime, or Latino on Latino crime, because crime happens in proximity. So yeah, it's crime committed amongst Blacks to Blacks is going to be high, but so is crimes committed against whites by whites, etc. So we buy into the rhetoric that they say about us, the myth of the angry Black woman, all of these different things that they put us in these boxes, and we buy into it because it was always, when you can't destroy your people a particular way, you start trying other ways. So they couldn't destroy us with slavery. They couldn't destroy us with Jim Crow. They couldn't destroy us with the war on drugs. Now it's propaganda where we turn in on ourselves. And so the Black man is warring with the Black woman and vice versa. And even my sister telling Black women to start looking elsewhere because she feel that the Black man don't appreciate Black women the way they're supposed to, because she has bought into the propaganda. And
you think it's because she brought into the propaganda, or the Black man brought into the propaganda?
Both. That's what I mean. The black men don't get off the hook, like I told you. And the last time I was on your joint, for the Black men who talk negatively about Black women, when you call her a hoe, a slut, and everything else, Black women will stop being hoes and sluts when you stop loving them. When you stop loving hoes and sluts, that's when they'll stop being hoes and sluts. That's for the Black man who think that's all she is, because those are the ones you looking at. She'll stop being that when you stop loving that.
And I used to say the same thing, to kind of go vice versa. I used to say, like, the women had the power. Like, if they stopped loving drug dealers and killers, maybe if you couldn't get no cookies, if that's who you was, brothers are tighten up, But yeah, go ahead, DFG. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. True story. Tomorrow I celebrate 27 years of marriage, right? when she was 16 and I was 17 or 18. I'm doing my hustling thing, right? And it was funny because my grandmother found my stash, and then like 5 days later, she found my stash. So the two women who mean the most to me is on my head about what I'm doing, right? And this 16-year-old girl gave me an ultimatum. She's like, look, we got a baby. I can't mess with you if you doing this. Now, I grew up in a neighborhood where this was, girls didn't shun from this. They kind of ran to it. This was cute to them because I could get the nails and the hair done, and I could buy them the Dooney and Burks and the, you know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. I could take them to the mall right quick and get them a couple of chains and whatnot. So they didn't shun from that lifestyle. But here this 16-year-old girl was telling me, you just need to go get you a regular job and be with your family, or I can't be with you. And it was the best decision I ever made, choosing her over that lifestyle. And so, because what most women don't know, if a man, if you got a man heart, he gonna go with the direction you want him to go. He gonna choose you. Now, if you just got another body part, then that might go a different way. But if you got his heart, he gonna roll with you. But I don't mean to get off into the man woman thing. We talking about Black culture. So I just want to read the values of Black culture real quick. Community, social activism, and then it says Black culture emphasizes community, solidarity, and social justice. It emphasizes collective values, traditions, and social structures that promote unity, mutual support, and resilience in the face of adversity. Now, pop culture would have you think that that's not the case, which is why my man said we don't have culture, we have cancer. Because pop culture and popular society, mainstream news would have you think that's not the case. But that's exactly what Black culture has always been about. We just see, for the most part, promoted the fringe side of Black culture. But Black culture has always been about unity, solidarity, and pushing our people forward in power. And that's, to me, that's what Black culture is all about. Rising from struggle and pushing forward in power.
Okay, moving forward, because you already covered all my question. I was going to ask, how does religion and spirituality influence Black American culture?
Oh, you should still ask so everybody can answer.
Okay,
Yeah.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I'm not going to participate anymore if you're going to ask this question with someone such as A1 on the panel. So I'm going to depart.
Don't depart yet. I still want to.
Wait
to
a
what
minute now.
DMG
Y'all was just getting along, and then you
Look,
come and
man.
let DMG come over here
Sheesh.
and put salt in the game.
Nah. I'm familiar with A1. He might not be from my city, but he give me Queens nigga energy. And the last I knew, niggas from Queens, especially around the Jamaica area, be stabbing niggas in the back. So this false sense of solidarity that you think we possess is merely a synchronizing of our intellectual capabilities.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, we're just showing the people that we could be cordial. You know, but when the gloves come off,
Come on now. And DMG, why you come start stuff? See?
you know, I'm Mayweather right now. I'm Mayweather right now. So
That's my job as a promoter, Mika. I cannot have these two diametrically opposed rivals coming up here and pretending to get along, even though it's Mika Wash, is shooting the shit. I cannot have them pretending to get along. Like I said, I don't know which one is which, so I ain't finna make that claim because I don't want one of them to get mad. But what I'm saying is this: one is Ali and one is Frazier, and that's all it is.
let's go. He came up here with his best Jay-Z impersonation, so you know I'm not gonna get on too bad.
Listen, nigga.
Okay, so let's
Anytime I
move
can catch
on.
that,
Moving
you
on.
know, I'm a
No, we're
fan.
not gonna focus on the
You need to take this
negativity
show on
right
the
now.
road. I've been telling them.
We getting
There's
along
no
tonight.
negativity. It's just how it gotta be. We down to the final four in the Battle of the Ideologies versus Series tournament. These two will be facing off. A1O gotta go, or J Fax just gotta go. But either way it go, somebody gotta win, somebody gotta lose, and we're gonna see who it is. But it ain't no kumbaya.
Let's go.
All right.
Honestly, I
What's
want
the
to point out
topic
the
of the
fact that
debate?
you put your. I want to point out the fact that you put your New Balances on. We trying to settle the topic. So I'll put that out there. You know what I'm saying?
Look, and you picked them up and put them on and just tried to depart.
Listen,
Can we,
I was
Hey,
departing because
the topic.
Yeah.
hello, caller, are you listening? Can we move on? They
I
got a
got the
debate coming on. When is the debate?
we're
We're
gonna let
gonna
everybody
iron.
know.
Yeah.
We're gonna let everybody know this weekend.
Okay. Now back to my question, because y'all getting off topic. Remind me, A1, to play your video that you made for the debate too later on in the show. But how does religion and spirituality influence the Black American culture? And I'm gonna start with Hista because y'all been going. So Hista, what's your answer to it?
Shout out
So
to the brother.
you know, in previous conversations, how I feel about religion in the Black culture. It's caused a big L in my mind.
It's
We've
called
taken
what?
a It's caused a big L in my mind. I think
How?
religion has been to our detriment, 100%. 100%. I think it has made us docile and passive. It's given us false hope, uh, and it's just restricted us from reaching our highest potential. That's what I believe. You know, we're always, a lot of people that are caught up in religion are always speaking about letting God take the lead, letting God take the wheel, as if, in my opinion, that they're giving him all the work and they just gonna sit back and think that they're gonna reap the benefits instead of doing it themselves. Uh, I think that, like I say, religion and all religions have been a detriment to us. I think we've been manipulated by religion into believing that we are less than what we are and keeping us down.
Mm.
I think that by my experience, my family's experience, because I didn't come from a religious household, I think that contributed to my success as an adult. I think that contributed to the success of my brothers as adults, my parents as adults. We are all considered successful in society standards, and religion played no part in it at all, not one iota. And when I say successful, I don't only mean financially. I mean our characters, our behavior is what would be considered desirable by a lot, and religion played no part in that. So my personal experience and what I believe religious influence was, I think it just caused a major L.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we didn't have that spirit about us, we wouldn't be so passive. We wouldn't be so forgiving in such a cruel society.
Mm-hmm.
I am definitely with the eye for an eye. I'm definitely with the shits and all the violence that anybody wants to portray towards me. I don't believe in turning the other cheek. I don't believe in being passive. I'm going to give you exactly what you give me, 100%. And I'm not going to rely on nobody or no spirits to guide me when somebody is doing something to me that I don't like. So, yeah, for me, religion is a big L, in my opinion.
Okay. Um, One, how do you feel about it?
I think J Fax should go next.
J Fax? J Fax. Is he even there?
Yeah. I'm here. I'm here.
How does religion and spirituality influence Black American culture? I'm sorry.
Given the fact that this right here is America that we residing in, the great land of the United States of America, land of the free, the home of the brave. Uh, I think I'm going to exercise my Fifth Amendment right, and
You have me on the edge of my seat.
I think I'm going to exercise my Fifth Amendment right. You know, and if you touch me, I'll sue.
Okay, well, I won't shy away from this question. I think the brother Big Hitser took the words pretty much right out of my mouth. It's been a big hindrance in a lot of areas. I know people are going to point to some of the pros, but we have to weigh the pros against the cons at some point. You know, does it making us feel good? Is that enough at this point? Um, Definitely big in pacifying the people.
Mhm.
A lot of people are waiting on a savior or the sky to crack and somebody to come help when I believe we are the ones who need to save ourselves. I think that needs to be back a part of our culture. Um, the Black church is a major part of the culture. It's a major influence of the culture. Um, but again, I think that it wasn't given to us with the best intentions. The Black Americans. But I digress. You know.
Beautiful.
Okay.
I think I answered that question now.
Oh
I think I
yeah,
answered
yeah.
that
We was waiting on
question.
you. I just wanted to give you something to bite on. I had to give you something.
Oh, now
You
you
know, if I
want
gave you
to
something to
answer.
chew, he'd come out.
So there's a lot of perks, pros. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go into that because I would love for my opponent to pick up this debate. I want him to pick up this debate, so I'm not gonna put too much sauce on it, pun intended. Um, but I will say, it's a little bit it's I'm not even gonna say a little bit. It's unbelievably biased, right? And I know it's human to have this bias. To outright say that religion in and of itself is not a benefit, or even there are more cons than there are pros, um, especially when we know that the specific context is usually aimed at Christianity, right? I'm gonna do something much more unique though, because I'm not your average Christian. I'm gonna talk about two perspectives, both the Islamic as well as the Christian, right? The Islamic, specifically the Nation of Islam, are incredibly militant and have argued for militants throughout the Black community. That's their religious belief. Arm yourself, protect yourself. You see what I'm saying? In fact, one of the more prominent and notoriety filled names from the NOI was Malcolm X, who always stated if a man put his hands on you, then you make sure that man never touches another human being again. Now, to flip this to the Christian side, which is what most people tend to target when they talk about the cons, right? The faith of the Christian is very plain in saying that we don't sit on our hands. So if you see a person that's Black and sitting on their hands, you're usually looking at either a coward or somebody who's having a hard time reading, because the Christian text states faith without works is dead. And we're co-laborers with the Lord. We don't sit and wait for the Lord to
Hallelujah.
do anything. You understand what I'm saying? So I just think there's some misunderstandings about what it is a Christian really is. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna go too far into the pros. Like I said, I want to save a little bit of the sauce for when I actually put this steak on the plate the day that I sit down with A1, and you know what I'm saying, proceed to feast on that man's. You know, now let's pause. I'm gonna just pause right there because that's crazy sauce. I'm gonna just
Let me,
chill
let,
right
let me interject
there.
real quick because I just want to say, according to the text and according to some people who claim to be a certain way, the lifestyle is totally different. Because according to the text, we are supposed to rise up. We are supposed to fight for our rights. We are supposed to win wars. We are supposed to do this. It
Oh,
says that God is the man of war, or a person of war. God is of war.
I'm gonna summarize that for
You
you,
ain't
Mika.
supposed to
Keep it
be.
real.
You ain't supposed to be just sitting. It says the Lord is a man of war. Let me clear that up. The Lord is the man of war. It ain't. We ain't supposed to be sitting on our butts and keep marching and stuff. That ain't nowhere in the text. So if y'all feel like it made us docile, that's because you hide something from an N word. You ain't gonna never know what you really supposed to be doing. And so a lot of people do like that feel good church where they just listen to what a pastor say. He like to make you feel good, and so you can give him his money and all that. The way they even tithe is not even the way you're supposed to tithe according to the scripture. So it's just a lot of those were traditions passed down to us, just like being traditionally a Democrat. You know,
It is
black
part
people
of our
do.
culture now. Religion even dictates things like the literature you're allowed to read. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how can a people grow if their information is restricted?
Yo, you
Um,
good at this, A1. You real good at this, brother. I
oh,
must say.
things like that. And then if you want to go to passages in the Bible, because I know you like to go in there, you know, obey your earthly masters. It says things like that in there. So, it's like nothing's one way. There's always a duality. So the
But
same
that's
way,
that now, A1, I gotta cut you off right there, bro. Because I'm a good person about linguistics and etymology and what the words mean when they were written. You know
How
that,
could you
right?
know what the words meant when they was written and you wasn't around?
Hmm?
How could you know what the words was meant when they was written and you wasn't around? I'm just trying to figure it out. Because everything you know about the Bible was told to you by somebody else, it was told by somebody else, and told by somebody else. So
And
how do you
everything
even know that?
was told by somebody else and
So
told by
so so
somebody else
so
and
how
told by
can
somebody else.
so my point is, how can you
What are you
devote
talking
your
about?
my
Like,
point is, how can you devote your life
everybody
to
knows
something
nothing.
that can't be proven? How can you be so emphatic about something that can't be proven? To me, it's just a waste of time. I need to move on and figure out how I can help out the homeless, figure out how I can strengthen my brothers. See what I'm saying? Because religion to me, it's just a circle. It just goes around and around, and nobody can prove anything. It's
I'm
all
glad you said that,
opinionated.
brother. I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna read something to you real quick. Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, and plead the case of the widow. Where do you think that's at?
Where is that at?
The Holy Bible.
And who wrote the Holy Bible?
Various people. Various people.
Various people.
Hmm.
Exactly. Exactly.
I just, it's okay if you want to live by a 2,000-year-old book that everybody's debating about. There are a few different books like that people go by. And that's what I was going to say. Religion does dictate a lot of what goes on in culture, depending on where you're at. From the way you dress, again, like the literature you're allowed to read, the moral values of the people in that region. Um, so black culture is like a Christian black. We might as well call it Christian black culture. That's the dominant culture. There are a bunch of subset cultures. We can break it up into macro and micro. If it'd give people more clarity, but
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into asking too many questions, but I do want to put this question out there. Do me a favor. Tell me the date of expiration on any specific vein of knowledge or literature, please.
no, I mean, it's just like I that's not what I meant when I said that. What I really meant is, like, I'm not about to go around pretending to have a 2,000-year-old imaginary friend who's dead who talks to me. That's what I mean. And if you want to let this dictate your life, this fairy tale out of a book, then
Ding ding
cool.
ding ding ding.
But like, that's not what's going to get our people ahead. We need to be education. Um Again, like, it's like religion versus science. Topics like that and titles like that let you know what we're up against. Science is about the progression and moving the culture forward. And it seems like religion wants to keep us stagnant in one place, like a MAGA campaign. We're trying to get back to some point in time where we think it was great.
Who said science was about moving people forward?
Hey, hold up. Let me
We're
ask,
going off course
let me
now.
ask you a
Okay,
question.
moving forward. No.
Let me ask
I mean, I gotta ask because I'm saying these people are
I
speaking.
never got to answer the question. I never got to answer the question. So
DMG time, please.
So this my thing, especially when we talking about black culture and the black community. The black churches were vital to the success of the civil rights movement. They hosted
Hey,
meetings.
let's see now. I gotta pause here because that was my next question.
Let me finish, Mika. Let me finish. They hosted mass meetings and were meeting points for rallies and marches and provided much needed emotional, physical, moral, and spiritual support. The Black church functioned as the institutional center of the modern civil rights movement. Churches provided the movement with an organized mass base, a leadership of clergymen, largely economically independent of a larger white society and skilled in the art of managing people and resources. An institutionalized financial base through which protest was financed, and meeting places where the masses planned tactics and strategies and collectively committed themselves to the struggle. Collectively, these churches make up the oldest institution created and controlled by African Americans. And they are more than simply places of worship. According to the Chronicle of Philanthropy, the Black church has donated 75% of all charitable donations in the Black community, meaning 75% of all charitable donations into the Black community come from the Black church, while 70% of donations by whites goes to their religious groups, not vice versa. In the centuries since its birth, in the time of slavery, the Black church has stood as the foundation of Black religious, political, economic, and social life. So, I mean, like people can talk about how the church has done this and done that to make us stagnant and other words they use to negatively describe this institution. But were it not for this institution, where would the Black community be? Where would Black society be? Were this institution not created during slavery? If it wasn't for an invisible institution, would our ancestors not still be enslaved? Would the Underground Railroad have been established? If it wasn't for the Black church, would the civil rights movement have been a success? Would we even be allowed in certain areas of the country to get on YouTube were it not for the Black church? So I just think it's funny that we got all this smoke for something that literally made it possible for us to do a lot of the things we do today. So the Black church, and by extension, the religion of Christianity in the Black community has been vital to pushing us forward.
Okay. Thank you for that. Clap your hands, everybody.
Can I
wish I
respond
had
real
the
quick to
haircut thing.
DMG?
Yeah, for real though.
I'm moving on to the next question.
I don't think the
For
civil rights era was a success.
So the next question was, what impact do social movements like the Civil Rights Movement and Black Lives Matter have on the culture identity of Black Americans? Y'all want to talk about the Civil Rights Movement?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
And the Black Lives Matter.
Let's talk
what
about
impact
it.
you think that had? Go ahead.
I don't believe the civil rights movement was a success. If it was, we wouldn't be having these debates that we having right now. If it was a success, I don't believe that the Black churches was ran by Black people because they received funding that was non-taxable to be able to manipulate to control the messages that they put out to us, because we wouldn't accept the message from a white boy, so they use black preachers to put out their messages they want to convey to us. I don't believe black churches was success.
We're
I
not
don't
talking
believe the
about
civil
churches. We're
rights.
talking about the civil
Listen,
rights movement.
okay, but they went hand in hand according to the last response. I
Yeah, the
don't believe the
church
civil
funded
rights
the civil
movement.
rights.
I don't believe the civil rights movement was a success, because if it was, we would not be having these same discussions 50 years later.
What about Black Lives Matter?
Black Lives Matter was once again another movement controlled by white folks. You cannot have an uprising that has an arrival date and a departure date. That's not an uprising. That is a controlled party. You can't control an uprising. You can't control me demanding my rights. You can't control my anger. Black Lives Matter was a controlled party. If I'm coming to fight for my rights, you can't tell me to show up at 8 o'clock in an orderly fashion, sing Kumbaya for 30 minutes, and leave at 8:30. It don't work like that. That was not for us, and it never will be for us, as long as we're allowing the so-called educated and bourgeois to control. The movement has to come from the ground up, and that's what it is. Simply put, in my opinion. In my opinion.
I kind of agree with that opinion, because the bourgeois, I guess, as you just labeled them, are more on the in the sentiments of, okay, well, we can speak out about it, but we just have to be civil. Let's keep things civil. And I'm gonna respond to what DMG said, but I'm going to place it right in JFax's lap, because DMG said, like, what are we doing now? So my question is, yeah, what are we doing now? The same thing that essentially we were doing in the civil rights movement. We've moved maybe an inch. And my question is the church funding our complacency, or is it funding the revolution? Do you see what I'm saying? Because
Surely do.
That's what it seems like it's doing. He ran off a list of things that it's done, and we're still having these conversations in a system where they wouldn't let us control anything. The one thing they did give us control over was the church. Like, and this was his statement, like, that was one of the first institutions we controlled. Why would they let us? Because the system was designed to always keep us down. So they're never going to give us anything that's going to advance us and put them in second place. We can't expect the people who conquered us to fund our revolution or to give us the tools, the toolkit to defeat them. And with that, JFax, do you think that the church has funded our complacency, or do you think the church has funded our revolution?
We're still on the church, and I thought we were talking about the civil rights.
Well, the civil rights was funded by the church.
Well, JFax, first you gotta answer my question. What impact do social movements like the civil rights movement and Black Lives Matter have on the cultural identity of Black Americans?
I believe they were incredibly impactful, given the fact that Black people, for the most part, are incredibly uniform in their thinking. We tend to very much so move with the majority. That's usually how we go. Concerning Black Lives Matter, to start, as you can see, and this is in no way, shape, or form to bash that organization, but there was no progress, and they was not Christian at all, like not even close. Which is interesting to me, that the conversation is centered around religion, while the very people who are not Christian and operating well outside of Christianity are just fleecing the community for millions of dollars on end to build themselves homes very far away from the very community they claim to want to save. But that's neither here nor there. Concerning the civil rights era, though, I'm just curious, brother DMG, Mr. Pianki,
Yes,
can
sir.
you tell me when Black people had the right to vote legally? Can you tell me when that took place, if you don't mind? I'm a little bit hazy on it, so I'm hoping you can help me out here.
What was it? 60?
Was it 60, 64, 68, something like that?
65?
It was in the 60s. And when was the civil rights era? I'm just curious.
In the
Uh,
60s.
it kicked off. It kicked off long before that, but it was still going on in
And
the 60s.
and would you say that the right to vote for the black people at large was as a result of the civil rights movement?
100%.
And from what I understand, according to the brothers on the panel, even though their explanations are really shaky, the church, according to them, funded the civil rights era. Am I mistaken?
that's what they said.
So it's safe to say that without the church, black people would not even have the ability to vote. Am I mistaken?
That's facts.
That's all I needed to know.
You are Mr. Just the Facts.
Let me go at him first, Big Hitser. Let me get him first. I see you about to.
Wait a minute, hold on,
I'm gonna be brief. I'm gonna be brief, and I just wanted to tap in on her BLM part of the question. Go ahead, DMG.
So Mika, you said what was your question again?
Well, because I just wanted to veer off a little bit about the civil rights movement, because that was about integration and segregation, mostly. So do you think that integration strengthened the black community, or do you think that we should have continued to be segregated?
Should continue to be segregated.
Personally, I think we should have stayed segregated.
Astral projections.
I agree with DMG, but DMG goes against his own point that the civil rights movement was effective. And to J Fax's point about voting, it did give us the right to vote, but has voting been effective in the change that I want to see?
No.
What has voting over the last 60 years gotten us?
Nothing.
So, and I'm seeing debates all online right now. Is voting good for the black community? So that's still a topic of debate if it's positive, if it's negative, if it's effective, if it's working. Let's not throw it out there like the things have been resolved yet.
So okay, J Fax, do you think we should have stayed integrated? I mean, we should have stayed segregated, or we should have integrated?
I believe we should have remained segregated. And I don't mean that in the sense of, you feel me, we shouldn't interact with or enjoy each other's cultures within a country that is completely and utterly like shared. It doesn't make any sense. We share this land. So I believe we should have been segregated. Like, we have our infrastructure, they have theirs, but we enjoy each other. You know what I'm saying? Now, to respond to the brother though, since he liked to pull at my coattail, so it only makes sense that I turn around and acknowledge him. You feel me?
Hey, this gonna be a powerful debate, family.
I'm just trying to be Memphis Bleak to your Jay-Z, brother. That's it.
Memphis Bleak. Okay.
I think he's trying to be more akin to Nas to your Jay-Z.
Come on. I think it's psychological games. I'm playing with it right now.
I think it's very interesting. Y'all can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I think it's very interesting that he said.
He went. I can't hear him no more.
Y'all can't hear me?
Now we can.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You can hear me now, you said, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. It's very interesting that he stated that voting has done nothing for the black community while speaking from a position of arriving, right? Like arriving, like we done made it. Like the black community hasn't made it yet, but the progress we made as a result of the church, and voting specifically, since that's what we're talking about, is insane. In a very short period of time, let's really think about it. From the 60s, and you said the civil rights era. I mean, I'm sorry.
It was from 1954 to 1968.
From the 50s to now. That's a very short period of time, given the amount of strife that we experience as a community. Would you agree?
I mean, what else is there that we want, though, too? Like, what is it?
Exactly, of course. And I'm so glad you said that. So let's talk about some of the things. And I'm gonna keep it real short. I don't want to get long-winded. I got things that I got to hold on to for this debate with this young man here. Let's talk about some of the things that, voting, the thing that the church got the black community has achieved. Legislation, of course, specifically with the Civil Rights Act, right? Your ability to vote, right? Electing representatives, that's voting. We have the power quite literally to elect representatives from a local and state and federal level all the way up. Policy influence, we can do that. Obviously, money make the world go round, so that we got to get some more bread up, but we absolutely have the influence, or not these politicians wouldn't reach out for our vote in the first place. Judicial appointments, you know, them judges we like to avoid, we got to put them there. We get to vote and choose whether or not they're going to be there. Economic empowerment, voting, community resources. That's just a couple things to list. I can go down the list. It's a lot. It's a lot that voting actually affects. But I just wanted to list a couple.
I just want to say, J Facts, you're going to make me look great up there. You know, I can't wait. I can't wait for this day, because you are good at what you do. You are good at what you do. I'm laughing. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, like, yeah, we have all these people. We have all these faces in these high places, but I haven't seen the change I want to see. We keep saying that we've come so far, so incrementally fast, but is it fast when I see the change that the LGBTQ's gotten in one decade? They've lapped us in a shorter amount of time. So it seems like this drip, this slow drip, incremental change for the better. Like, things are getting, you can't burn the candle at both ends. It's the incremental change for the better that we're getting is not as good as the fire that's on the other end of this wick. And,
I love it. I love it.
It's time for people to admit that. And that's why voter registration amongst the Black community has dropped. There are a lot of people who are saying, I'm not getting off the couch this year. It's not worth my time. I don't respect anybody that's up there, and nobody's earned my vote. And that's okay for people to say that. You're not a bad person if that's what you choose to do, because each of these people are corrupt and has done something that will make even your most honest church preacher cringe. So all of these people are pedophiles. All of these people are laundering money. There's common ground here that we can find amongst both candidates that we both don't like, and this is the reason why voter registration is dropped. This country is working exactly the way it was designed. It's keeping us on the bottom. So Kamala may have the complexion for the I don't even work there. She may look good in that spot, and we may feel good with her there. But is she going to help us advance? Is the question. Is anybody else going to help us advance? I don't think voting is the way. But I digress.
So this is the thing. When we start saying voting is meaningless and things of that nature, especially when we're talking about within your own community that you live in, it just starts sounding nuts to me, because, like, I don't know how somebody could live in a space and not lend their voice to how that space operates. So when we talk about voting, it's more than just the two faces that they put in the presidential election. It's about your community and where you actually live, where your children live. So I think we kind of lose focus of that. And so my thing is Black people, or any people, period, in this country where these things take place. Like, why would you even be here if you're not, like, if it's that much of a joke to you? Why even be in this space where you letting other people and their choices and who they decide to put on a ballot sheet affect your everyday life, and you don't even want your opinion to be heard? Why even, like, why not like repatriate back to Africa or some other foreign country? Why even choose to be around this?
Well, I mean, this is where we was born at. I can't repatriate to Africa because I'm not from Africa. I have no knowledge of Africa and their doings. I only have knowledge of this place. Now, as far as voting goes, I do have more belief in local elections. So I do vote in local elections, but the choices that we appear to have are still not even our choices. We're just picking between the ones that they put in front of us.
Yes.
Because they're still not operating for us. And I only care about me and mine. When I say me and mine, I mean Black people. I don't care what any other politician is doing for any other race. If they're not doing for black, then they're no good for me. That's just the bottom line. I'm not concerned with no other races. Yes, I vote in local elections. I have no faith at all in federal elections because they have shown that those people are picked beforehand, and we don't have the power to choose those people. We don't. That's why they have the electoral votes. That's why that's there. We
All
don't
right, so
have the power. It's a
I,
farce.
I hear you, and I actually, to some extent, what you're saying is correct. However, you're leaving out a very big part of the fact that your local elections determine those electoral seats, which determines the president of the United States. So it's very interesting to me that this idea that voting in and of itself is somehow a waste of time or any of that. Now, listen, you can do what you want to do. That's the dope thing about this country, right? You can literally do whatever you want to do. However, you can't complain if you do what you want to do and everybody else is playing the game and winning. You can't complain about that because you're not actually taking advantage of the opportunities to make a change yourself. And it's funny that the finger's always pointed at the church about what they're doing and things of that nature when they actually got a track record of doing it. A1, you said you don't like the speed at which things are happening. And also you don't like the fact that the changes are happening with other communities relatively quickly, right? Well, voting changes.
Go ahead. Okay.
Voting changes that. Like you actually brought up the LGBT community. You see what I'm saying? They have a whole manifesto that I just learned about not even freaking 2 months ago. I think it's called something about the straight America. I forgot what it's called exactly. Shout out to Leandre for putting me on. But I read that whole thing and it blew me away. In fact, I got it right here. I don't want to mess the name up. So let me just go ahead and pull it out so y'all can go. The overhauling of straight...
brother. You no Diddy.
Yeah,
you scared me over there.
Pause.
Tell me what you got over there again.
It's called the overhauling of straight of America. Is what it's called.
They just got that in the crib.
Yeah, I got. Yeah, I printed it out. I got the whole manifesto.
Copy next to the bed. Okay, go ahead.
You funny. It's a very interesting piece. They had a whole plan of action and they put it together from the propaganda they put out there to literally the steps they were going to take to achieve what it is that they wanted. They put their money where their mouth was, and then they went out and enacted the strength of the political officials that would have gotten them what they wanted, straight up and down.
Okay,
now, here's
that's
what's
enough of that. I have to cut you off now because I got to move on to my next question. Y'all debate is coming up, so we ain't going to give too much. Now, the next question is, oh gosh. Is there a generational divide in how Black Americans perceive and express their culture identity?
There's definitely a generational divide. It's just there's so many different ways I can talk about that. Your questions are really broad.
What about
that's
you?
Good, though. That's good though.
Do you think that there's a general divide in how Black Americans perceive and express their cultural identity? Are you falling asleep?
You talk? No, I'm not falling asleep. I'm listening. Like he said, your questions are kind of broad, and they, yes, it's always going to be a generation because we were raised in different generations. So it's always going to be a generational divide on any and everything. Just because we were raised in different generations, meaning we was taught different things by different people. So that's always going to exist.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for that. J Fax.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, outside of age itself isn't what's the determining factor that makes that divide. It's more so the fact that the progression of what we understand to be culture has vastly changed. Like, for example, yeah,
it's on my Facebook. I'm streaming.
So boomers, for example, held a lot of prestige to how you carried yourself. A lot of the people call it today respectability politics, where you carry yourself a certain way and you'll be seen and respected a certain way. Whereas today, much of the youth, and sadly the younger part of the millennial group, they believe you're going to just have to take me how it is. And they think that's just what it's going to be. And that's the culture. You see what I'm saying? So yes, there is a divide, but I don't think it's based on age. For some odd reason, there was a drastic shift And I don't think age has anything to do with it. But there is a divide there based on the age groups involved. But I don't think it has it. I don't think age is the cause of it.
Mm-hmm. DMG. DMG, you gotta unmute your mic. Everybody falling asleep. Ugh, I'm gonna just let y'all have at it and just argue then.
No, I was
I'm up.
re-ask the question, Mika. My bad. I was reading.
I'm changing the question because y'all falling asleep over here.
Oh, Mika, just re-ask the
I was
question.
gonna go into because with the generational divide, you know, when we were growing up, you know, we had people like Lil Kim, Luke, Uncle Luke. As far as music is concerned. Then when I go back and watch Def Comedy Jam, I'm like, we was really watching that.
I like Def Comedy Jam though. When I think of cultural divides, I think of things like you know how like older people are more inclined to have jobs, you know, just the things that young people are doing right now. You know, there's a cultural divide on things like entertainment, video games, and stuff like that. Well, I guess that would go along the lines of what you were saying with the comedy.
It's because it's like social, economical, you know what I mean?
Technology.
So,
there, you know, we have to put them on to a lot of new things.
Like my 3 youngest kids, right? The ones that's still at home, 17, 19, and 20. They've never not had their own phone since they could remember, right? To the point where I remember when they was younger, they asked me what kind of phone I had when I was little, and I had to tell them I ain't had no phone. So my grandkids, same thing. They got tablets and all this kind of stuff. My grandson know how to get a hooker on Grand Theft Auto.
What?
You know, on the video game, you can get a hooker, and he know how to do it. And my grandson like 6 years old. Like it'll probably take me a year to figure that out on that game because I play.
Y'all don't remember when we had the Nintendo? We had to go up, down, left, right, left. We had those.
I'm just saying it's a whole different world from what we grew up in. And so they get music instantly while we had to go wait in a line. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a different world. Like when Tupac album came out, I had to go wait in a line at Blockbuster Music or something like that. They just get it on their phone and just hit download, and they got it. So, and it was kind of like, now you know how the older people felt when we were younger, and you know we had cordless phones that we can go out on the sidewalk and talk on the phone, whereas they couldn't. They couldn't leave the house. So just those little innovations, along with the change in styles and the way people talk and the type of music that they listen to. You know, when you're going from the Temptations to Michael Jackson, or from Michael Jackson to Usher, from Usher to Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those generational gaps do kind of play a part in how we operate. But we got to remember, we the ones that's handing them culture and traditions and
shit.
And all of that. So, you know, from that standpoint, I think it's definitely a generation gap, but I think also when you're a close-knit family and you the person handing down those lessons, you can still remain close-knit no matter how far apart you are on the generational sense.
Okay, let's play a game. Never have I ever. Right. Never have I ever.
I want to answer the question.
What was? Go ahead, nobody. Oh, I'm sorry, nobody. I forgot
Nobody
you.
but trust
I'm
and
sorry.
believe the
Everybody
gospel
want
on
to
the
be on
whole
the stage.
effing show.
He's what is he? He's nobody. What's your introduce yourself, nobody.
Run it down, bro. Run it down.
Well, y'all already know. I go by the name Nobody because I'm always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody, and that is Jesus the Christ. I am self-proclaimed co-host of Paradigm Shift TV 314, and I represent the super team. You know what's good with everybody.
What's good? What's your take on what's been going on? I'm sorry, I meant to introduce you a long time ago.
Now, I just want to answer the question that you posed about the generational gap. A lot of my sentiments would align with what DMG said. I believe that, of course, the world has been updated. You know, every generation that comes after a generation definitely has something that the generation before it left it. But when it comes to this country and when it comes to voting, voting has been around in this country for a long, long time. So even though my mother and them didn't have cell phones, and we have cell phones, but we didn't have tablets, and now my kids got tablets. The voting system was still in place through my era, through my mama era, through her mama era, through her mother, and all that, and so forth and so on. So I would say that even though generations do come because everybody have kids, but when it comes to things like voting, when it comes to things like morality, you know, those things don't change. Short, simple, sweet.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I muted everybody myself. If you're gonna talk, then you gotta unmute your mic because it was some static. But so do you guys think that voting has contributed? Like, has it helped the Black community? Has voting helped the Black community?
I would say yes.
How?
Just like the brother Jay Fack spoke on earlier, if we look at what the system was like when we first came to this country, compared to what the system was like when we came out of slavery, compared to what it's like right now, I mean, a lot of that stuff was due to voting to the point to where the Civil War, blood had to be shed because half the country voted one way and the other country voted another way to where it came to blows. So I would definitely say that voting has definitely helped out the Black community and every other community that's in this country.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, anybody want to answer the generational divide in the Black community question? Okay, now.
Well,
How
hey,
do
me, check it out.
yeah.
Check it out. I'm about to burn out.
Mhm.
Like I say, I got 27 years in tomorrow with the Queen, so I gotta go and get ready for.
Yeah, I'm about to get up out of here too. But can we get your final thoughts?
Congrats.
Well, my final thoughts are that, like I said, black culture, Black people definitely have a culture. It's a rich and enduring culture that continues to thrive today, and it continues to not only define our journey, but it continues to inspire other cultures all around this world. I'm gonna say it again, like Tupac said: if they could be Black, then they would switch, no matter what they may say out their mouth. So when it comes to Black culture, I think that it's a continually evolving thing, and it encompasses all those values that I mentioned earlier: community, social activism. The Black community emphasizes community solidarity and social justice. It's represented by the artistic and cultural movements such as the Black church, the conscious community, Black arts, the Black Renaissance, hip hop, and other arts and musics. And so, with that being said, y'all know what it is. It's your brother DMG. Y'all come and check me out right here with Sister Mika and over on Paradigm Shift TV 314. Salute to all the brothers on the panel. The one brother, I forgot his name. Big hitster. Come on over to Paradigm Shift. Let me interview you, bro.
Oh wait, his mic.
All right, y'all.
All right, I got you.
All right, peace, y'all.
All right,
Peace,
peace. Thank you for
peace.
joining us, DMG.
Thank you for having me. This.
On
Okay,
that
I want
last
to ask
question,
a
Damn,
the
question.
voting?
I wanted to ask DMG, is the Baptist church the black church that he was speaking of?
Mm,
I could answer that question for him. He would say that the Baptist church is a part of the black church. The Baptist church is just a denomination.
Does the black church have their own Christology or own theology regarding the Bible, or just a part of the larger Baptist or Pentecostal church?
I, um, I would say, and I think that he would echo my sentiments in this. The Bible is for everybody. It's not just for black people or white people or Chinese or Mexicans and all that. So the doctrine itself is not focused on whatever skin color or culture we come from. You can be from any culture and still be a Christian, even if your culture is, having quinceañeras and burritos and or like you said, hip hop and the stuff that we do, or if it's whatever a German do or a European do. So the Bible main focus is on saving every soul, not just the black soul.
So the black church is just a part of the larger Pentecostal or Baptist church from England, or
Well,
Yes.
not specifically the church itself, because I mean, not those denominations itself. Those are just denominations. But I will say that the black church is a part of the doctrine of Christianity as a whole. Yeah, not
what
specifically.
what what
Well,
specifically is the doctrine of?
let me step in on that one because the black church, yes, is comprised of mostly Baptist. It's some that's Baptist, it's some that's Christian, and it's some
Methodist.
the Nation of Islam.
What exactly is the doctrine of Christianity? Because I know there's diaphysite, monophysite.
The
The
doctrine
doctrine
of
of Christianity,
Yeah, so
is,
they're followers of Jesus Christ.
yeah, John 3:16 is the doctrine of Christianity. For God so loved the world that He gave us, the rest of it.
I mean that's a scripture. I know there's different Christology. Like I know the Orthodox Church don't necessarily follow the same Christology as the the Catholic or the Protestant or the Eastern Orthodox. I know they got different theological views on Christ.
I
Mhm.
mean, not as a whole, not as a whole, but yeah, like for example, when he brought up Baptist, for example, where Baptists disagree with Pentecostal at, right? They both agree on John 3:16 and the Trinity, and we have to be saved from faith through grace. But where the Baptists differ at, Baptists believe that you have to be baptized in order to be saved. Pentecostals don't believe that. Methodists don't believe that. Evangelists don't believe that.
So those are
Pentecostals.
large theological differences. That's you can't just
Those are
No, no,
not.
no,
Those are
no,
not.
no, no. Those are minimal. Those are minimal theological differences, not
uh
large.
That's up for
Yeah.
debate, though. I think what determines whether you get into heaven's gates or not isn't minimal, but I digress.
Here's the problem.
That's your opinion.
Here's the problem, right? You're under the impression that the people you listed have a different view of who Christ is, when by definition, according to the Bible, who Christ is determines your salvation. So if these people have varying understandings on who Christ is, then they also have varying understandings on what it takes to be saved. Again, like nobody stated, they all base their faith on a very simple principle. For those who love and put their faith in Christ and believe he was sacrificed for their sin shall be saved. That's it. That's the
And we
basis
all
of what
believe
makes
that.
that's the basis of what makes a Christian a Christian. So if somebody says they don't believe Christ is this, then they're diametrically opposed to the statement that I just made.
okay.
And if
What
I can give an
separates the
example,
quote unquote black church from the larger
I don't know, buddy. I'm
Pentecostal?
gonna have to mute your mic because it's getting some feedback.
I
Go
wanted to
ahead, what you were
respond to what you
saying.
said about politics, Kwame. You can go ahead and read your comment that you had in the chat.
Well,
Oh,
I'm trying to move. Wait a minute.
Oh,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
Hold on. First, Kwame, welcome to the stream. But what was your first initial comment that you had to make?
my first initial comment was what separate the black church from the larger Pentecostal or Baptist church?
Okay, so each one of those different churches are with mostly different nationalities, but they all have the same principles, but they're dealing with their people and we're dealing with our people. So it's very rare, but sometimes our people go to be reared and go to like a Church of Mormon. Like, why are you there? Don't go there. That's not your space. You know, you don't go to you don't go to a Ku Klux Klan rally. You know what I'm saying? You're like, come on now. So
I was just
Right.
asking because
Spoken like a
if I
true
was
A
Christian.
Mormon,
I was just
a
asking because if
Mormon
I
church
was a
petition.
if I subscribe
I'm
to
sorry. Go ahead.
the yeah part, if I was just asking because what if I subscribe to the Ethiopian Tawido church? Would I still be a part of the quote unquote black church if the larger black church is Pentecostal or Baptist?
Can I answer that
I wouldn't
microphone?
say that the black church was Pentecostal because I ain't never been to a Pentecostal church.
So
If
you can say
if
that
I can
again,
speak on
sis.
that, she said that she never been to a Pentecostal church, so she would disagree that that's the majority of black Christians.
I don't know too many black folks that go to Pentecostal church. I might know a handful of people.
My daughter used to go to a Pentecostal
I know
church.
a handful of people that might go to 7-Day Adventist.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if I
I'm
can speak
just
on that for a
including
second.
Pentecostal, Baptist, and in the larger Protestant movements. Not to confuse it or nothing, but I was
Oh
just
no,
trying
oh
to
no, oh
see
no,
if
we're just not confused. Protestant, yeah. The Baptist church, the Pentecostal church are all born out of the Protestant movements. So you're not off rails when it comes to that. It's just the fact that the majority, when you say the majority of black people follow those denominations, then that's not technically true. But like you're saying, there are black Pentecostal churches, black Methodists, black evangelists. You know what I'm saying? Those churches do exist, but then you have non-denominational churches. My daughter just left a Pentecostal church, and she's been going there for 3 years. And at first, I was teaching her what a Pentecostal church was, but again, she was just like 18, 19, 20. Now that she understands that, for example, my daughter didn't want to wear pants. She thought that wearing pants was a sin, right? Now, that's not going to send her to hell, even though that church teach that women shouldn't wear pants or women shouldn't wear makeup. They're wrong about that, right? But that's not that particular thing is not going to send anybody to hell. You know, even though Baptists believe that you have to be baptized in order to be saved, if you get baptized, I believe you should get baptized. But if you get baptized or not, that's not going to send you to hell. If you go to a missionary church, missionaries believe that we all should be, going overseas and spreading the gospel to people who don't know the word. That's a good thing to do. But if you don't do that, that's not going to send you to hell. If you don't know who Christ is, if you don't believe in the Trinity, if you don't believe that Jesus is God, those are major differences that determine who can go to hell or not. Because how can you know who Christ is if you don't know that Christ is God? So when my sister brought up Mormons, Mormons are not Christians. Jehovah's Witnesses are not Christians. They claim to believe in the Bible, but every other Christian denomination, even though I may disagree that you can wear pants, you can wear makeup and stuff like that,
that's the
we
interpretation though. Sorry to cut you. That's your personal interpretation.
okay. If you want to say it, I don't want to argue that right now, but I could break that down to you. But I don't want to make it too long. You know what I'm saying? But that's not my personal interpretation because we have information from not only the apostles but the early church fathers who sat under them, the people who sat under them and under them. All this Protestant and Baptist and all that stuff, that's kind of new age, bro. That came thousands of years after. None of the apostles claimed to be Baptist or Protestant, or what I'm saying. That stuff came after the fact. So
If
that's
we go by numbers, then we'll have to say the Catholic Church is the real church because they got the largest denomination of Christians
Okay,
but
I'm
worldwide.
moving on, you guys. Thank you. I'm done with that conversation. I'm trying to move on.
okay.
Yeah, we
Okay,
could
go ahead,
move.
sis.
Yeah. So I just want
But
to
my
get
point,
everybody's final thought. Huh?
my whole point was I was just trying to see if the
That's
black
fine. I'm
church.
moving on because I want to get out of here. So
Okay.
let's get our final thoughts in. and everything, everybody, because it's getting to us that time. Astro projection. Can I get your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, yeah, some of that, shout out you for putting this together. Paradigm Shift TV in the building, the whole effing show. Gang, gang, y'all already know how we coming. Um, Shout out Mika, man. This was a dope show. You had some good questions, and they were open, which gave you a chance to see what's on people's brains actually, because what you say is a reflection of what you think. So open-ended questions can actually reveal a lot. Um, and J Facts, you know what time it is. Passing the mic. Go ahead. Do your
Let me
thing.
ask you a
Shout,
question. Have you
shout
ever
out to A1.
have you ever ate out of a butter Tupperware? Like, say for instance, have your mom or a female ever put food inside?
Girl, look,
Uh,
I
I
still
got
do.
some
I
right
don't
now.
care how
I
rich I
got
get.
some
I'm
right now.
still gonna save that butter tub as a
What?
Tupperware, and I'm gonna use it for a microwave thing when I'm trying to make something. I definitely am because we recycle.
Spaghetti?
Uh, definitely, and you never know
what
what you're gonna
about
find in that
a
spaghetti
pickle jar?
tub.
Do you recycle pickle jars and use them to drink
Man,
out of?
I recycle everything
Yes.
that I
Yes.
can, and when I learn how to recycle something new, like I'm ecstatic about it. Even down to the clippings of my vegetables, I use the compost for my garden.
Do you
So
put sugar in grits or salt in grits?
I
Come
put
on,
sugar.
A1.
I put both. I don't
Come
know
on,
how.
A1.
My mama's mama was from Mississippi, so we put both in there. We put
Okay.
sugar and salt, and then just a little dash of pepper on top, and butter. What you mean? We need all that.
Before you jump off, A1, before you jump off, I just want to say shout out to A1 for going on JJ platform and giving it up for the Paradigm Shift TV 314. Let's go, bro.
You already know how we cover. Paradigm shift,
Right.
man.
Before I get everybody else's final thoughts, I did want to play your little clip there.
Oh, did you watch it before you played it?
No.
Oh, but don't play it then,
Why?
because you didn't watch
I didn't have time.
it. Okay, so I mean, you're gonna do another show. I'll come on for you if you want me to.
All right, for sure.
Just check
For
it out
sure.
before
I might
You
you
got
know
to
do
what
bless
you
the
playing.
person,
You
Big
don't
Sis.
need you don't know what you're showing.
Yeah,
I don't
you got
want
to
it to
bless
throw
the
the
person,
the balance of the show
Big Sis.
off. If you want to let somebody else get a final word while you play it, go ahead. You can mute up and play it. Do that.
Mm,
Yeah, see.
well, I can't just play the thing. But anyway, let me get your final thoughts before I play it. Hold on.
Shout out to A1.
Appreciate you, man.
Here's the final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I want to thank all the brothers and their intelligent input. You know, the diversity and the knowledge is always a good thing to me. I like to hear other people's opinions on what they feel. You know, it's hard to get these type of conversations. I find it personally hard to get these
I wouldn't
type of
marry one of
conversations.
them. Cappuccino face. But I said I would.
That's the video.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Let me mute
Okay.
myself.
Go ahead, Hister.
Yeah. So basically, like I was saying, for me, I find it kind of hard to get these type of conversations out here on these streets. And so it's a good thing always. As far as cultural wise go, me personally, they can erase all our culture if we picked up in exchange for the revenge culture. I wish we could pick up the revenge culture and go out and get what we supposed to have coming. That's my
The
final
Bible
thought.
said pressure makes a wise man mad.
Where you from, Hister? You sound like you from Texas, man.
You know what? I always get that, but you know what? I'm from California. I'm
Oh, okay. You sound
born,
like me. Okay,
born and
go ahead.
raised.
Mm. Do you put sugar or salt in your spaghetti? Do you put
Salt,
ketchup in your spaghetti?
salt and pepper. That's it.
For your grits?
For my grits, sugar.
What about your spaghetti?
I just told you salt and pepper.
Oh, okay. And do you put like have you ever had some spaghetti that had like links in it? Cut up links
Yes.
all put together?
Yes.
Okay. And last but not least, have you ever ate a pickle with Kool-Aid in it?
No.
No? What was in your
No.
pickle?
Plain.
Who?
My pickles was plain, and I'm not really a big pickle eater.
Oh,
But
okay.
when they was fashionably and trending back in the late 70s, early 80s, I ate them plain.
Have you ever ate a pig feet? A pickle
No.
pig feet? Oh.
No.
Okay. You ate some chilies before?
No.
No
And
chillings.
He not from the
basically,
South, Mika. He not from the South. He said from California. He
listen,
ain't heard that.
I
listen.
ain't never ate no
Basically,
chilies either.
but the
I
thing
have.
is, right?
Hmm.
I mean, for me personally, I'm a picky eater. So the things that are considered soul food, 80% of it, I do not eat. I'm a junk food junkie. So I don't eat barbecue. I don't eat the black eyed peas. I don't eat collard green. I eat none of that shit. I'm a junk food junkie.
Hold up. Now I got to get on Mika's side. Yeah, bro, you tripping, bro. Now
You might have to
it's some
revoke
stuff.
that black
It's some
card.
stuff in Ella, it's some stuff in soul food I don't eat, but for the majority, you said you ain't had no collard greens. Yeah, you my bro, man. You got to come out here, man. Come to Texas with me, bro. I'm gonna turn you on to some stuff to where you go to California. You gonna have to have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where's Jay Fax at? There you go. I was wondering what happened to you. Now let me play this video real quick. I don't even care what's on it, to be honest. And then I'm gonna get. Can I get your
What you been sipping on, Sister Mika?
Nothing really. I wanted something, but I said I ain't gonna drink tonight.
I'm on that Patron. You sound like you are some. So that's just sleepiness out here in your voice.
No, I'm not
I
on
ain't ready to
stuff.
close out. I just got home from work. I'm lit. So I mean I'm gonna close out when you want to, but your little brother lit.
Okay, here got the video. How do I play it?
Man marrying one of them. Cappuccino face. But I said I wouldn't man marrying one of them. Cappuccino face. But I said I wouldn't man marrying one of them. Cappuccino face. But
What is that?
That's
You
that's
got
a
you got to know the conversation in order to see why he clipped it.
yeah. It was a conversation going on in the back chats. You know, they've been throwing the tournament under the bus, man. I think they're doing a beautiful job. It's one of the smoothest running tournaments that I've ever seen. Fair. You know, I like how they're doing things, man. So yeah,
Okay,
I had
Jay.
to get on what's the name for slandering Paradigm Shift, slandering the tournament,
Yeah, I
and
was in the comment.
Shout out to
really,
A1.
Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to A1 Astral Projections. Everybody like, subscribe, and share. What's up, Jay Fax? You got some final thoughts?
What's going on, mama? Not really. I just want to shout out this whole coalition, the commission. You know what I'm saying? Mika. Shout out the whole effing show. Paradigm shift. Everybody getting cream. No one considered a leech. You know what I mean?
that's a good one. Let me mute up.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody, man. I'm kind of mad just Shundo not monetized. I was gonna drop some bread on you, you know what I'm saying? But either way, I appreciate the time. I appreciate brothers like nobody, you know what I'm saying, being in the space and lending to the conversation. Um, yeah, I don't really appreciate the rest of you niggas, respectfully.
Y'all stay tuned.
Respectfully though.
Jay Fax, you grew up with your mom and dad? Who did you grow up
Yeah.
with?
Nah, my pops is a drug dealer. He's still running from the feds.
So you grew up with your mom?
Yeah.
So did you have to come home when the street lights came on? Come in the house?
Nah, I was a vagabond. I was a truant.
What that mean?
Meaning I came home when I came home and got my ass whooped. I ain't never.
That means that he had freedom, baby.
Yeah, I was a truant. Even though I didn't like the consequences, I enjoyed the process that happened before them consequences. So I didn't adhere to that whole. Like, I grew up during a time when your mama screaming out the window was your call to come home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There
My
wasn't no
granny
street
used
light.
to scream out the back door, Mika. And I'd
Can
be
I ask
way
one
up in the
question?
street, and I could still
Mika,
hear
can I
her.
ask,
I could hear my granny calling me.
can I ask one question, Mika? J
Mm.
Facts. Did you ever hear while you was growing up, if you can accept the punishment, then you can do it?
Yeah, no, absolutely,
I never heard that one.
absolutely. She used to say, I asked her to do something. It don't matter what it was. Yo, ma, can I go do this? She was like, you want your ass whooped? And I just sit there and think for a minute, like, you know what? All right, whatever.
Too funny. You know, I done heard. I brought you in this world. I'll take you out. Anybody heard that one?
Yeah, it was just,
Definitely heard that
That's
one.
from Bill Cosby. After Bill Cosby said that, everybody was saying that in the 80s. How old is everybody on the panel? How old are you, J Fact?
come on, ma. I can't tell you my age because that's gonna give away my wisdom. I like keeping people in suspense, so
Did
I'm
you
somewhere
Come on, bro.
between.
Show them great hairs, bro. Show them great hairs. How old are you, bro?
I'm somewhere
Did you ever
between.
have
I'm
to turn
somewhere.
the TV? Did you have to walk up to the TV and turn it yourself?
Yeah, of course I
Oh,
did.
hell
The
yeah.
knob.
Hell
Listen,
yeah.
I'm gonna put you like this. I had to not only put aluminum foil on the antenna, I had to slap the side of the TV to get it to work.
Come on, Jay. Mika. He had to blow inside the Nintendo to make sure that it worked. Come on, Jay.
Yeah.
Facts. Tell him.
Yeah. Also, you know how to
Okay.
play Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers and stuff like that, right?
Come
You know
on.
how to play Duck Hunt?
I'm 39 years old. Me, nobody. I'm 39 years old, man. I'm gonna hit the
Nobody, I cannot hear you. I don't know what he was saying. Okay, you guys, and I think we got everybody final thoughts. Kwame, did you have something to say?
Yeah, it was just a good build, and I hope everybody enjoyed their night. I enjoyed the build though.
Oh, okay, thank you for joining us. Thank you to the whole panel for coming on, and right. So as we wrap up today's discussion, it's clear that the question
Can you hear me, Nancy?
have a culture is as complex as it is profound. We've explored the historical roots, artistic expression, and social dynamics that contribute to what many recognize as a distinct cultural identity. Our conversation today underscores the resilience, creativity, and community that have long defined Black American life. Whether viewed as a singular culture or rich blend of influences, it's deniable that Black Americans have made an inevitable mark on the culture landscape of this nation. Okay, thank you guys for joining me. I'm so grateful that we had this build, and you guys stay tuned for the debate we got coming up. It'll be the time will be released this week. What, this weekend when y'all gonna have the debate?
Yeah. Where did J Fax go?
I think we should plan this another time. This nigga's scared.
I think he's scared. He's
No,
running.
yeah, he gone, everyone. He gone
He's
from me, bro.
gone?
He ran.
Okay,
He ran from me, bro.
Lies and alibi. Burn when the sun rise. I see the hate in your eyes. When you see me, now you tongue tied with your lies and alibis. Try to keep up. I'm moving too fast. I fill in my cup, empty out my glass. Moving on up, spitting out this gas. Get the re-up, invest this cash. Avoid the corrupt. Some of you niggas is trash. So keep your head up and out your ass with your lies and alibis. Lies and alibis. Burn when the sun rise. I see the hate in your eyes. Now you're looking compromised with your lies and alibis. Even the mask know his master's career. Got created Eve out of Adam's rib. I give to men the most high would give. Out of her womb every man shall live. The mother of all living. Then she started 7. She them.